So dear devotees, dear friends, we're here. So we're here to represent the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, the very head of the Sampradaya of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, his gift of the holy name with Krishna Prema in this age, and his gift of the holy name coming from the original Swayam Bhagavan, Lord himself, Krishna in his manifestation as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami, whatever he will give us, we must pay good attention. And so we've come together to hear something of his advice and guidance in 11 verses. Hare Krishna. This is for, and we were about to say, to our guardians who have given us this eye to understand what is spiritual life, what is right, what is wrong, what to think. So our guardians, on Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rafa Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, and our whole Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vanga. So Sri Upadeśāmṛta at an unusual time for many of us, but we're very happy that we have many devotees from around the world, including lots of last-minute sign-ups from Brazil. So I don't know if there's automatic translation taking place. Yes. I mean, simultaneous there is. There is. Okay, perfect. I've just been put in the seat, and here in the Bhakti Yoga Institute of London, and they have this very suitable hall, which actually is a classroom. This was a school. This building is a school from the 19th century, means the 1800s. So it has a long history of education. And so now it has that special history of education being added to it. And that is that the education about the real purpose of life. So we have our classroom, literally a classroom. And so the whole plan and program by the energized devotees in the ashram here, the Bhakti Yoga Institute, is to have regular classes as classes. So we have the students at the desks with pen and paper. I've also got pen and paper. We've got the students at the desks. They've got some course notes. Maybe I can have some course notes too. Somebody can give me one. And we're here to discuss Sri Upadeśāmṛta. 11 verses. 11 verses given by Rupa Goswami. And just before we begin, we are going to chant a short Vandanam because it is good for us to do so. And so, Vandeham, and then Om Agyan, and then Vanchakalpatarubhishcha, then Namo Mahavaranya. So, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam, Shri Gurum Vaishnavascha, Shri Rupam Sagrabrata, Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Sahiva, Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva, dhīraḥ Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri viṣaheta. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Manmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa-sindubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuje Namaha. All right, so dear devotees, they put me in a formal position as a classroom teacher, but we are happy to be informal. So we do have the shloka. Oh, here we are. Oh, so just before the sloka is an introduction, maybe. Oh yes, introduction by Srila Guru Maharaj. I'll have to look here, won't I? Or can I see it on the screen? Anyway, here we are. No, let them see, because the screen is showing it. It's fine. So Sri, okay, it was fine. I'll look on the screen again. Okay, yes, because of the reflection. All right, this is some words from Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. And Srila Guru Maharaj, she, because she here, he has given us this expression about Sri Upadesamrta. Sri Upadesamrta was given to us by Sriman Mahaprabhu through Srila Rupa Goswami. We shall be very cautious about the details of all these things. Cautious means have much caution. We must take very good note about these things. A comparative study of the transcendental world is shown to us in Upadeśāmṛta. So we must properly adjust ourselves according with this aspiration, that may our fortune direct us to move on and on towards Krishna consciousness, from deep to deeper to the deepest. Then Guru Maharaj is saying the 11 verses of Sri Upadeśāmṛta are very important and very, very useful for practical and personal realization. And Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, they are speaking with one voice, and we've heard very similar expressions from Srila Gurudev. And we've heard and read, rather, we haven't seen, but similar expression, read, not heard directly from Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada about his stress on the importance of Upadeśāmṛta. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stress that these are just 11 verses, and they are our whole basis of our practical devotional life and the destination. We are not doing some practice just so that we can put up a flag or get a label to say, we are this or we are that. We are doing the practices because we are going somewhere. We have a destination. And that destination is given by Srila Rupa Goswami in these verses. But first of all, we must make ourselves steady in the basic practices. As Srila Gurudev says that to build a building, you must first make a strong foundation. And in another way, he says to launch a rocket to outer space. You can't do it in the desert. You have to do it where there's a good launching pad so that the thrust will have something strong to hit. So our launching pad for our devotional life must be strong. Our launching pad, yes, and our foundation for the building must be strong. If we just try to make a building, but the foundation is a little weak, then after some time, while building it also, it may just fall over. So the foundation of our devotional life is being given by Srila Rupa Goswami in basically the first 8 verses. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 8 specific verses, his own composition of śiṣyāt. And the first 8 verses of the 11 verses of Upadeśāmṛta are all concerned with our conduct, not only external conduct of what we do externally, but about the foundation of our internal conduct, how to be a sincere student. If we are a sincere student, we learn and we put it into practice. We don't just learn and then not put it into practice. What is the point in going to a sailing school to go sailing a yacht, how to get the wind in the sails, how to make all your journey, your life in a yacht? You think, oh yeah, the sea must be very wonderful. We can go to some tropical island and out in the sea. But if you only go to school, only go to the class, then you're not sailing anywhere. You can just go down to the pub and what is the Wellington Arms down the road here, some pub with some strange name like this down the road. And then, just talk about sailing, but you never get in a boat, you never go anywhere. But this sail does that sail does that. If it's windy this way, you pull in the rope on this side, and the rope in sailing is called a sheet, because we did sail a little bit. But you don't go anywhere. You just theoretically know, oh yes, about sailing. And even then that theory, you will find out only in the practical world will you understand how to adjust everything step by step on your sailing journey. Because the wind changes, the current changes, and all sorts of things happen. So we are on a journey, and we need to learn and to then put into practice. So don't worry, you don't have to save up lots of money to buy a sailing boat or rent one or anything. We have the ideal, perfect opportunity with this human body. This is our boat, suitable boat, to cross over the ocean of illusion and go to the eternal land of reality, joyful reality, the beautiful, loving, charming, all these things. So we have the suitable boat, but we need a captain and a navigator. And so we are getting this leadership, the captain and navigator guidance coming from the scripture, but the scripture is coming from the guru. So all of this is coming from the spiritual teachers who know what is what. And they are watching us. They are watching us now. They can give support. If we put into practice their teachings, they, from behind or from in front, but either way, whichever way we give as an analogy, they will give us the support, the strength to cross over the next step, and to keep on going. So Srila Gurudev said about Srila Guru Maharaj, after his disappearance, and many devotees start to do independent things and various things, and Gurudev saying, they are thinking that Guru Maharaj has departed. But Guru Maharaj has not departed, he has disappeared. Just the body is gone from the external that we can relate to, and he's there in the conscious world. And so our guardians are there, and they are seeing us, they are conscious of us, even when we are unconscious of them. So the teachings that we are about to hear, these first 8 verses, which will go through one day, then these teachings are the very foundation which we should not only know about, but we need to constantly keep them in our remembrance and put them into practice. And putting them into practice doesn't mean later. It means whatever we can do, we need to try to get our boat on course now, not to just be anywhere in the ocean. If we are on a big ship and then ship goes down, but we happen to get on a life raft or something, we have to then not only, we're afloat in the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, but we now need to understand, how do I get my boat going in the right direction? So we have this opportunity, we are afloat, but now we've got to go in the right direction. So this guidance is coming from above. As we put it into practice, we will get favorable winds. We will get favorable influences from around us to make our journey successful. So the very beginning, and remember, this is coming from Rupa Goswami, who I did have a quote, but I had to restart the computer and I lost it. But there's a description of Rupa Goswami as being Mahadhira. greatly sober grave. We know that with all the soberness and graveness, there is that loving side, the ecstasy side of the Lord. But he's very sober, very serious, very grave. He's giving us our directions, beginning with something which we have to attend to, our desire to speak, our desire to speak, just anything and everything. And actually our desire to speak what is not Krishna-centered. And it tends to happen even, with the devotees who are around a long time. It can happen, but we don't have to look anywhere. We have to look at ourselves and say, we have to be careful about what we are speaking. Does it make sense? Is it Krishna consciousness or not? So anyway, it's just very quickly, we'll say the 6. There are 6 items, by the way, for the first 3 verses. So there are 6 items given straight away by Rupa Goswami. So remember what he says, it is of great value. It's not just written some poetry down. And this is instruction for guiding us to our home of eternity, love and beauty. So we really should not only know, but take seriously these teachings. So beginning with just speaking, and then tongue, mind, anger, then in a straight line, speech, mind, anger, then the tongue again, but for taste, then taste, filling the belly, and sexual desire. These 3 are in a line, and so that's the second 3. The first 3 are the speech, mind, and anger, which are pretty much all in a line as well. So it is very good that we can say this verse, and some of us in the temple life, when we join the temple, then we have devotees who recently joined the temple, and in the beginning there are lots of Sanskrit words and all these things, and we think, how will I ever learn all these verses? They're chanting these verses without looking at a book. But repetition helps. So it is very good for us also, as a good tip, is maybe for the duration of this course, each of us can recite the 11 verses of Upadeśāmṛta every morning, so that we just run through all the verses. Or we could first, actually my suggestion is, first of all, recite the first 8 verses for the first few days until we get to verse 8 and finish that. Then we can recite also 9, 10, and 11, because we need to have the foundation of the first 8 verses before we start letting our mind think too much about the high world of Krishna's pastimes. And so the last 3 verses, they're at the end, not at the beginning, for a reason, so that we get our foundation strong. So these first 8 verses are our foundation. And actually, are we able to click through here verse by verse easily? Then, okay. And so, yes, I'll also check here so that I have here. So let us go through these verses. Okay, but we'll start with verse 1, whoever's got the finger on the control. Somebody has, everyone looks like they're good students here and giving attention to me, but somebody is in the ether, changing our screen. Okay, so first of all, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, the author of these, and we've already given our obeisances to our divine masters. And by the way, here I'm seeing a beautiful picture of Srila Gurudev with his hands like this, and pictures of course our other masters and Nitai and Gauranga here. And Srila Gurudev very humbly this way. So verse 1, we're going to recite verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. But yes, together we'll recite the 8. So at home you can recite But please don't turn on your microphones, otherwise you'll get a strange kind of echoey, ethereal sound or something. So, verse number 1, slowly, together. Vācho-vegam, manasaḥ krodha-vegaṁ, jihvā-vegam, udaropastha-vegam, etān vegān yo viṣaheta dhīraḥ, sarvām apīmāṁ pṛthivīṁ śiṣyāt. So this is the first verse, and we'll just run through them. So we've got the sound first of all. Okay? Verse 2, slowly, together. Adyāhara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha lolyamcha shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati. In the third verse. Utsahan nishayan dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato-vritte shadbhir bhakti prasidyati. In verse 4, dadati pratigrinnati guyam akyati pritchati umte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshana. Okay, number 5. Krishneti yasya giritam manasaḥ driyeta dikshashti chet pranati bhischa bhajantam isham shushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyam anya nindadi shunya hridam ipsita sangha labdhya. Then verse 6. Drishtai svabhava janitair vapushascha doshair na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pashyet gangam basam na kalu buddha fena pankair brahma dravatvam apagachati nira dharmai. And then verse 7. Śiṣyāt Krishna nama charitari sitapya vidya pitto patapta rasanasya na rochika nu kindvadarat annudinam kalu saiva jushta svadvi kramad bhavati tat gada mula hantri. And then the last verse that we're going to recite these days at the beginning, verse number 8. And nama rupa charitadi sukhit tanu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan vrajetat anuragi jananugami kalan nayed akhilam Upadeśāmṛta. So these really are super verses. We're going to go through, as requested by the devotees, we'll go through them one by one. So we'll come straight to verse 1, means one by one, day by day. So we stay on verse 1 for the time being. And I was reading Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, some commentary that he was making, or discussion he was making about the Upadeśāmṛta. And he had verse 1 and verse 2 very closely linked. When he was talking about verse 2, he's referring back to verse 1. So verse 1 is going to be like our reference point also for continuing with our discussion with verse 2, verse 3, etc. So, so we have, translation, and here we have translation. The urge of speech, which is vācho, or I think it's vācha is the original within this. You know about the Sanskrit grammar, the ending becomes an O in this case. Vācho, the speaking tendency. Vegam means to, means the urge, the desire to do. And you're going to see this is coming up again and again. So vācho-vegam, the urge to speak. Manasaḥ, from the mind. Some of us were in Govardhan recently, manasaḥ Ganga, the Ganges, it came from Krishna's mind. I mean, lots of things come from his mind. That everything comes from him, from Krishna. But our mind, unfortunately, doesn't always have everything good in it. So we have to control the urges, the vegam, of our mind. Manasa and krodha comes up not all the time, but very often in Chaitanya Charitamrita and different places where somebody gets angry, krodha. And so we mustn't allow ourselves to get angry. And for me, it's interesting that Rupa Goswami specifically points out krodha, because the mind is the mind. So one of the things with the mind, you can think, oh, anger is coming from the mind. But the mind is wandering everywhere, and it may not be just to anger. But here specifically pointed out, because it's all coming in our mind sense, mind organ, is the urge of anger. Anger arises. So the mind and anger. So these are all here. They're all closely together. And so speech, mind, anger. So why are we staying on this a little bit? Because we do want everyone to learn these so that we don't have to think, oh yeah, what are the urges we're meant to control? Oh, I think one of them is this one. We need to automatically know, just as all of you know the 10 offenses to the holy name. Automatically you should know that. And I was happy to see Devashish's class, Devashish Prabhu's class on the holy name, the 10 offenses. No, what's it? Japa. Japa, yeah, the attention to japa. And everybody, when he asked, everybody gave the correct answer. So we were very happy about that. Okay, so we always have to do homework. We always have to keep visiting things we know, but we should try to connect this to our DNA. And our DNA tells us things we don't have to analyze at all. We just pay so straight there, yes. So speech, mind, anger. Speech, mind, anger. Vācho, vegam, the urge. Manasaḥ, mind. Krodha-vegaṁ. Then there's a J missing. Yeah. Look, there's a J missing on your thing. Jihvā, and this is not the jiva soul, it's J-I-H. So maybe some of our native Hindi speakers can pronounce it better for us, but this is Sanskrit, jihvā, and long A at the end. It's the tongue. The tongue. And also, and on Govardhan Parikrama, we went beside, but we couldn't tell about every single temple we passed by when we were on Parikrama of Govardhan recently. But we went right beside the jihvā-mandir, which is the tongue of Govardhan Mandir, which is interesting. Yes. Oh, what temple did you go to today? I mean, to the temple of the tongue. The tongue. But so jihvā-vegam, again, the urge of the tongue, but in this context, it's the taste, the tasting tendency of the tongue. The first one is the speaking tendency of the tongue. This one is for taste, so jihvā-vegam. Then udaro, is it the original is udara, so two words, udara and upashta. So udara and upashta, when they join together, becomes udaropastha. But udara is the tendency to want to eat more and more. We've already got our full meal, we've already got our quota, but give me more, I want to eat more. And then so to control our eating quantity, we need to control our eating quantity. And then upashta, make sure I get it right. Yeah, upashta, when it's joined together. Udara upastha becomes udaropastha, and upastha is the genitals, the desire for sex life, male for female, female for male. But that is to be under regulated conditions. And as Guru Maharaj points out, everywhere in every religion, there is some institute of marriage in a civilized society. But these three items, these are to be fully regulated. And how will we regulate everything? We are given a description in Srila Prabhupada's commentary, Guru Maharaj's commentary, and elsewhere, that the tongue, the belly, and the genitals are in a straight line. And if we can control the tongue for its taste, then, and the belly for its quantity, if those are pacified, then automatically the genitals become pacified. Automatically means still needs attention. Gurudev tells directly that lust, the material lust, it is within everybody, because we're in this creation, which is based on male and female in every species of life. So it is very deep-rooted. But all of these, they are controlled by the mind, ultimately. And Guru Maharaj explains elsewhere that the desire for the opposite sex, the sex desire, it is not physical, but it is in the mind. It is, somebody can say, it anyway lives in manodharma, I think, manodharma. It lives in the mind. So all of this instruction is how we have our attitude to speaking. So how do we control speech? How do we control our mind? How do we control anger? How do we control our taste, the desire for taste, the desire for eating more and more, and the desire for unregulated sex life? So, one by one, this has been well presented, and in one very thick book. Oh, here is that thick book, which weighs 1 kilo. Weighs 1 kilo. So all you weightlifters and everybody, then here's a book you can really lift up and hold up, see how long you can hold it and show the public. But inside here, you will get, detailed analysis about each of these points, and showing the treasure of control of the senses, in fact, showing that treasure in different ways. And some emphasis too, that it is not, I don't know what I did. Oh, the book's too wide for the stand, maybe. Anyhow, it's not just external, but it is internal. And the desire to speak, we will control our speech desire to only talk about Krishna conscious things. We can still talk. We're not sitting there taking what's called mauna brata, sitting where you don't speak anything to anybody. But we are to speak things which will be preferably truthful, beneficial, and pleasing to hear, in the line of waking up Krishna consciousness in others, and for those who are devotees, in the line of giving some glory and honor to Krishna's pastimes, form, etc. So it's not that we don't speak, but we will speak only the Krishna-centered things. And the non-Krishna-centered topics are given a description in the scriptures as mritya. Well, mritya katha is lies, actual lies, is death katha. Mritya katha. So lies in Bengali, and at least this is mritya katha, death. Yes, death talks. They're inviting death. But that's about lying. But everything which is not Hari Katha is inviting our continuous birth and death in this world. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example, and it may be in the scripture, but I remember this from Srila Prabhupada's writing or recording of his speaking. He's saying that if we are speaking just anything and everything, then it is like the frogs croaking. And I know you don't get many frogs in London, maybe, but some places, really, the frogs are very loud. Wah, 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 they're making their sound. And Srila Prabhupada saying about these frogs, they think they are singing very nicely and talking so much, but they're just inviting the snake. They tell the snake, oh, I'm over here, come and eat me. And so the snake coming and very happy, thank you, frog, for letting me know. So we mustn't be like the frog and just inviting, oh, here I am talking about, oh, I'm a very good candidate for you, Maya, taking on body after body, which is for non-Krishna subject matters. I'm tasty for the illusory world because I'm relishing talking about mundane things. So we must not be frogs, we must be devotees. So the speech comes very first, and then the mind, yes, and we know Krishna is saying to Arjuna about the good qualities, what qualities we should have and who is pleasing to him. And he's saying we should control the mind. And then after some description, Arjuna says, oh, Krishna, it seems to me that to control the mind is more difficult than to control the wind. So Arjuna, a great personality, is giving such a perspective on controlling the mind. So we need help with controlling the mind. We cannot control the wind, and we cannot ourselves just by force control the mind, even though there's a whole yogi section who give much emphasis on trying to physically, yes, it's still within the physical world, like force themselves not to think this, not to think this, not to think this. A thought comes in, not to think this. And they do this, nyeti, not this, and trying to find the place where the mind will be actually focused. But by our own effort, then Brahma-samhita says that for millions of births, someone may try to do this. And if they are sincere, they may get their mind so focused and peaceful that they will reach the outer effulgence of the lotus feet of Krishna, the outer effulgence, which is the Brahma Jyoti. But Guru Maharaj points out, but they will have to fall down again. They will have to. It's not maybe they'll fall down. Maybe they'll be there for a long time or a short time. But because the nature of life is willing, feeling, and thinking, because which all is activity. Willing is an activity, feeling is an activity, thinking is an activity. Because the nature of the life is to be active, then sooner or later, then unless they're very fortunate, they must fall down again into the material environment because they have not accepted that the Lord is the center of all of our activities, willing, feeling, and thinking. So as long as we deny the Lord, and who is the Lord? Krishna. We've been reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, the origin of the origin, given in Brahma Samhita also, Ishvara, Paramāṁ, Krishna, Satchit, Ananda Vigraha, Anādiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. As long as we deny God, deny the Lord, then we are going to be cycling within the mundane environment. And the yogis know it is painful to leave the body, take a new body. They know it's not our home. We should try to get out. That really we are eternal and not our body. They're searching for that. But without accepting the Lord, that there is the Creator, without acknowledging the Lord and understanding that we are for Him, then they're going to be just trying to forcefully go to a plane of peace, of satisfaction. But when we put Krishna in the center of our mind and try always to bring back our mind to Krishna, we are getting that help from above. We're coming in connection with the positive sphere where everybody is thinking of Krishna all the time. And so to keep our mind chanting the names of the Lord. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nastyeva, 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 gatir anyata. That we've got this verse which probably everybody knows or has heard, that in Kali Yuga, then only chanting the name of the, by chanting the name of the Lord. Stress 3 times, and 3 times, no other way, no other way, no other way. So 6 times in one short verse, stressing that in Kali Yuga we must chant the names of the Lord. This is the very medicine to get our, not only our mind, but our whole heart back to being Krishna-centered. So our DNA, we're saying we should try to know at least the meaning of each of these verses, the instructions, automatically, so we know what are the senses to control. This is verse 1, so we need to start with sense control, controlling the vegams, the urges. And then krodha. As Guru Maharaj says, nothing good ever came from anger. And we see it, we see it. And Gurudev, he was a very energetic person, but in his last days, his last manifest days, Gurudev, with all sincerity and very humbly but powerfully telling to the devotees gathered, he said, there is no other way for us in our life to deal with everything in this world than Trinadapi Sunichena Taro Eva. So Trinadapi Sunichena Taro Eva Sahishnuna. Okay, everybody else knows it. Amanina Manadina Kitanya Sarahari. Okay. Like I said, the Sanskrit may come and go, but we do know that one. But it may go as well, you see. Remembrance comes from Krishna, but the message we must try to get. But what is that verse? Humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for oneself. Someone who has those capacities can constantly chant the names of the Lord. So this anger, when it comes, we must remember this guidance of Mahaprabhu and all our masters. We feel we can catch it coming up. We have to catch it and remember humility and tolerance, giving honor and not wanting. And we must come back to get strength from the teachings of Mahaprabhu, but of all of the teachers in our line. And this way, by ourselves, as we say, we cannot stop everything. And some people, they may not be particularly angry by nature. And so they may think, oh, that's easy. But some people are angry by nature. And we even have identified by Gurudev, some devotees. Yeah. Yes, Vaishnava, they are Vaishnava, but angry Vaishnava. But first quality is that they're Vaishnava. But step by step, then those, some may have more problem with one of these or another, but we have to try to conquer. It means conquer, to consciously take the strategy to control each of these 6 items. So now we've got our speaking, our mind, and our anger. Now, tongue, belly, and genitals. And we touched on this just now, that if the tongue is controlled and the belly is controlled, then the deep-rooted desire for sex life, which has been lifetime after lifetime, will be subdued and will be controlled. And there is a composition of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that every devotee every day chants before taking their prasadam. Sharira avidyadam jodendriyata hekam jive pile visaya sagare tamade jivayati. Oh, that's in it. Tamade jivayati lobamoy sudurmati tokajita kotina samsare Krishna Boradoyamoy Koribara Jiva Joy Swaprasad Annadilabai Sain Amrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Premidako Chaitanya. And really, we should take time to see that verse. And that verse is also all word by word. We can see everything there. But there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is reminding us before every meal that our material vegams, our material desires have brought us to this world of suffering, of fear of death, of not knowing where we are going in this material world out of our materially motivated activities. It brought us fear. This world is a place of fear, fear of death, fear of dying. But we have come here because of our senses, our desire to enjoy for ourselves. And the most voracious of all those senses is the tongue. He wants to taste things. And in this regard, Guru Maharaj explains that we're talking about real yogis, not people who make a big show of, I'm a yogi kind of thing, but they're just doing business or just for prestige, which is a kind of business. But Guru Maharaj said that the real yogis, they may be able to control their eating quantity, their sex desire, control their anger. But still, the last remaining control is that for the tongue. That they'll be fasting, they'll be sitting in a cave, they do everything else, but the desire for the taste will remain. So then in that verse of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's saying, but dear Lord, to control this most dangerous of our senses, you have been so kind to give us your own remnants. And we honor those remnants. We are taking your prasad. This is your mercy that we are taking. And that mercy control our tongue. So a higher taste, another expression from our masters, from Srila Prabhupada, I believe, a higher taste. And Guru Maharaj also, interestingly pointed out, made some examples, that, and as we take only prasadam, just it will change our consciousness, just as every 7 years, the scientists say, that your body cells, they all change. And if you, by taking your food, then you can also, in the material sense, I mean, so many people know it, you take food in the mode of passion, you're passionate. In ignorance, ignorant. And in goodness, you become little shanti, little peaceful. So in the material world, there's the expression, you are what you eat. And we see some people like to eat pigs. We can recognize that sometimes. I mean, sometimes you don't want to see like that. We think, oh my goodness. And then you think, where are they going? But you are what you eat. But this is prasadam, to control that important taste of the tongue. And then the belly, well, that's going to come consciously. We must know when we've had our meal and not just gorge ourselves and take more and more and more. It is a natural matter. And then for the sex desire, then we use our energy for Krishna and we follow the principles that basically the emphasis is given, control the tongue and the stomach and the sex desire, it will be pacified. But as long as we are in this world, then we have to accept we've got male bodies, male minds, female bodies, female minds. It's all part of being here. And so we must be very careful in this world about the illusory senses, the illusory environment, and we must be very careful in this world about losing our faith too. And there was a third one that we were trying to remember. As long as we are alive in this environment, we must be very cautious where I am. There is the pull of the environment with us all the time. And there is another pull, which is that of atheism. The general world outside there is atheist. It's not accepting there is God. Everyone happily accepting that we've evolved from, anyway, we don't have to go there, but evolved from a fish or something, and the fish evolved from, it's kind of stupid, really, really childish when you look at it. And as a 9 or 10-year-old, I do actually remember when I heard about the Big Bang, and then asking, so what did the stuff that went bang come from? And of course, you're immediately told you're foolish. So anyway, it's kind of, even a child thinks it's childish, that this idea that something went bang. And especially in the modern age, by the way, when they're able to look finer and finer into atoms and molecules and all these things, and they realize there's amazing things everywhere. So where does all that amazement come from? Even if you say life comes from matter. But anyway, that's a bit of another story. But, oh, yes. I have a hand up from our audience right here, and I kind of may be talking to them too much, and less to you all at home. And I have a list of who's on the other side of the camera with an addendum, right? So anyway, we really don't want to feel like we're the other side of the camera. We want to be in one gathering. But as I said earlier, they put me in a more formal arrangement here because it's the Bhakti Yoga Institute, and they wanted to be like a teacher and students, which I'm not very good at, because I really am a student. And if at the end of these 11 days, when we will be doing one verse each, if I am able to revise the Sanskrit of these as well as the meaning, because I think hopefully I do know the meaning of them all, quite fluently, because we do try to live by this. But I hope we'll all benefit. And as I say, I'm a student, but we've been put in a teacher's chair, so please excuse me. But usually we're able to see everybody much more closely, like who's online. But I have a question. Is it online or from?
Oh, well, I actually was just wondering if it's possible to ask for questions before we.
Oh, well, we only have 3 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, if there's anything.
But we should. Oh, but we didn't cover the last line.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. So sarvām apīmāṁ pṛthivīṁ sa śiṣyāt. So the sarvām, okay, we still vegān. Sorry, we missed out like last 2 lines. We've only been going through like the 6 items to control. So this class may go on longer than 1 hour. We'll have to silence the school bell that goes off on the hour, right? And then all the students, they hear the bell and just abandon the teacher, get up and go. Anyway, we're going to silence that bell. So etān vegān yo viṣaheta dhīraḥ. So etān, these vegān urges, whoever viṣaheta can tolerate dhīraḥ in a sober way. So whoever can tolerate these urges in a sober way, sarvām then it gets separate, because it's sarvām apīmāṁ. So all certainly this, api is certainly, and imam, this pṛthivīṁ, pṛthivīte, the world, we hear this word often, that, then saha, that personality, śiṣyāt, can instruct, can give instruction to the whole world. And so the principle here is also, you have to do these things in order to really be able to transmit these things. It's one thing to know something, but another thing to do. And our biology, I wasn't alone in the classroom, our biology teacher in school is teaching about biology, and he's showing all sorts of things, and he's showing things from, some diagram or something about smoking. And don't smoke. This is what it does to your lungs. And then we see him as soon as the class is over there, all the teachers are around in their room and they're all smoking away on cigarettes. And then, we don't really pay a lot of attention to that. So anyway, the point here is that you must set a good example. What's the point in just giving news without setting a good example? But I can say another example about that. We were saying, was it yesterday, that I was in the Boy Scouts a long time ago. And so in the Boy Scouts, we were saying about singing. Even the Scouts, they go singing as they're walking somewhere, but sing non-Krishna songs. So we want to be in the Boy Scouts, Girl Guides, but which is going in the Krishna way. But in the Boy Scouts, there was also a teacher. Yes, must be a senior scout. I can't remember what they were called, but like an adult, and we're all young teenagers and adults. But he got cancer, and he was smoking, and he was more powerful to say, "Don't smoke. Look what happens." Got lung cancer. So there was some realize you don't do it activity. But we need to set a good example. This is the point. And then, with all of this, then we can try to do some good for others. Again, it's not theory, it's practice. So that's why at the beginning we said that these first 8 verses, they're giving us guidance of how to think and how to behave. And of course, external is one thing, but we will see, as you see this book, which walked away, you'll see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very strong on the internal side of all of these points, these senses to control, very strong. And so not even to think something, but I'm not saying it, like the very first one. It's not just you don't say something. Of course, that's good, but it shouldn't even be in the back of your mind or on the front of your mind, or I wish I could say this, we need to try to, like everything in our spiritual journey, take off the layers from the gross to the finer, to the finer, to the finer, and always work on these 6 items, 6 urges to control. And by the way, if you make it through 3 classes, we've got some, wait, don't tell them what it is yet. We've got a special treasure. If you make it into our 3rd verse and complete the 3rd verse in our 3 days, then we do have some treasure, extra treasure to share with you. Okay, anyway, we went a little quickly on the last part, but it's in a way, it's self-explanatory. It's English, it's quite self-explanatory, but there is that thick book there, which helps us to understand that a lot can be said on these subject matters. But at the end of the day, we have to do it. And so again, it's not knowing like so many technicalities and technical things. It's a case of this is the guidance. I see in my heart it is right. I get a tick mark. So now we have to be good students. So they put me here with the students. Okay. we don't have time to go.
Maybe there is a time for a
Question.
short question.
No, I know, yes. Kelly, you got a question?
I don't have a question, but I just thought in case someone online.
Oh, okay, I thought you had a question. So there is a question. Can I ask you if you have a question? So anybody, if you put in the chat box, I won't see it, but we have Kelly Kadamba here who needs special credit, and also Subhasini Devidasi needs very special credit. She's made course notes, which I think you have at home.
Yes.
And the course notes are with the devotees here. And she's really worked very hard to compile the notes. And all of the team, the Rasamoy Pandita, Saraswati Devidasi, Abhinava Sundaru, Kelly Kadamba we mentioned just now, and all of the team who really are very enthusiastic to bring the Bhakti Yoga Institute into a very kind of a, a teaching way, a way of actually, we'll have classes. And so not only gentle association with the devotees and the daily programs, but we'll have some structure to try to cover the important things which are here. So a special mention to each of these devotees and to everybody, and for you, the students, for participating. And there is a question, there's a hand up here.
Actually, can you mute me?
Somehow now we've got some sound.
Can you mute that one?
happening.
I also Dandavats. I just wanted okay, I'm going to come over.
All right, we have the technical crew
Yeah.
who do face various challenges. Or you need a microphone. I don't have a microphone.
No, it'll
Did
catch
anyone
there.
hear me?
I just wanted to thank, first of all, Srila Bhaktivinoda Madhusudan Maharaj for running this course for us. We did put him in the hot seat, and he, like an expert, as always, the perfect servitor and example to all of us, has jumped in despite our fumbling along the way and has given an incredibly wonderful first class, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So we're very grateful. And also just wanted to mention that we're super grateful, yes, to Subhasini Didi she worked incredibly hard to make these student notes, as Maharaj said. And she worked, I think, late at night, like getting it all done before today. And also our team of translators, they at the last minute worked like on the train heading home from work, to work in between jobs to get all the translation of the notes done for students into Russian. We had Hari Gopal last minute doing the live translation, Udaran Prabhu. We had in Brazil, Anu Krishna, Priya Sundari, Rasikananda, Leela Shakti, and then in Italy we had Barnavi and Shanti Moy. And so I don't think I've forgotten anyone, but really working super hard to put this all together at such a kind of a last minute, so that everyone in as many languages as possible could. And Priyanana, of course, our dear Priyanana as well, working really hard, and she's been working on the Gita translations. So yeah, we're really grateful, and actually couldn't do it without everybody.
Well, quite a team.
Quite a team.
So,
yeah, quite a team.
my appreciation to you all. And really, if I have any value or if anything valuable I can do by this, it is to encourage you to see more and more of what Srila Gurudev, what Srila Guru Maharaj, what Srila Prabhupada, what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said on each of these verses. And if we can at least give some kind of appetizer, an appetizer, so you get an appetite to go more and just understand that there's so much more that can be said. And so in your spare time, you can read from the Upadeśāmṛta commentaries, which are there, but by our masters, not to go drifting off. Like when we read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, must come in our channel, but specifically like Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, specifically Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I mean, we are getting so much food to keep us nourished, to keep us focused on Jagannath Puri, to keep us focused on the Upadeśāmṛta. And this is on the back cover of, in the back inside cover, or the front inside cover of the Upadeśāmṛta book. So maybe that's a sign. If it's on the front cover, we're just beginning. But if it's on the back cover, that's going to fit then. So this is maybe our ending today. And really, I can definitely say I appreciate it. I mean, so many devotees have signed up, and the savor of the devotees here to give a little structure to the important, very important things for every devotee. And for instance, the Bhagavad Gita, the Japa, Upadeśāmṛta, and there will be others to follow, I'm sure, śiṣyāt, etc. But these are the very foundation of our spiritual life. This is what Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada always wanting us. We keep our feet on the ground and do our particular duty in our time, place, and circumstance, which is, yes, we can hear about the upper land presently, but we have to keep our feet on the ground and we worship that land. We don't go jumping there without getting that foundation that they are each giving us in our devotional life. Oh, that's a very white cover, but it does say Sri Upadeśāmṛta. It's, I don't know whether that's
Embossing.
Wow. Well, if you read this book without the dust cover on, then your family and friends will know you've read it quite soon, because this will have it colored. And the Prapana Jīvanamritam book in English, it has a cloth white cover. And it is very nice to see a well-worn Prapana Jīvanamritam, you know, read regularly. And this morning in the temple room, then I saw, and in the mornings, almost every morning, reading from Affectionate Guidance. And that book looks very happy because it's been well read. Nice to see a well-read book. I did notice a bicycle here, which looks very clean.
They're clean London streets.
The clean London.
There's just one last final point. On the end of the student notes, there are some questions for homework. And the idea there is to help everyone to go through and do a little revision. And if it brings up any questions, that's great. Please make a note of them. And next class, please do raise your hand or write it in the chat, because it helps all of us. If you ask questions, we can all benefit from Maharaj's answer.
Well, I hope I'll be able to do justice to a verse and answer questions.
Yes.
That's also, there's plenty more to be discussed and said. And tomorrow is very important. The second verse follows on from the first verse. So, there is a reason behind the order of the verses and a reason behind the order of the vācho vegam, manasaḥ, krodha-vegaṁ, in the tongue, belly, genital. There is a reason behind all of it. And this is the very first verse of the head of our sampradaya, who is giving us Krishna prema. So if we do have any idea, ecstatic love of God, we have that opportunity to enter that land. Then let us try our best.
Jai Srila Bhakti-Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki
Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti-Sundar Govind Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti-Rapa Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Gaur Kishore Bhakti Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the very beginning of this wave of Krishna, pure Krishna consciousness that is flowing around the world. ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupa Nuga Sampradaya ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Gaur Premanand ki jai.
Hari.
Hari.
All the assembled devotees ki jai.
Jai.
The unlimited devotees everywhere ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanand ki jai.
Hari.